Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series. What we're going to be doing today is a special reading class which will expand the vocabulary, expand on the vocabulary that you've been learning. Let me just put my name on the screen. Oh, why can't you see my name? That's weird. I'm going to explain the class, but give me just a second to get my name on screen. And it is not working. Weird. All right. Anyway, so we're going to be doing a special reading class, and we're also going to maybe just revisit the last activity we did to get a little bit more practice with it. Talking not only about what we do, but about how often, our routine at work. So we'll be starting off with that, and then I've got a very interesting article that will help expand on the vocabulary you've been learning. Okay? So we're going to get started in just a minute. I've given you the link in the chat window. I'm going to give you the link to the notes inside. And I'm also going to share the direct links for all the material, the presentations that you're going to see as soon as I get it open. Okay? And while I'm doing that, let me see if I can reload the other app so that you can see who I am. Give me a second here. Let's see if this is working now. Wow, something is not right with the Hangout. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I can't get my Hangout to work properly, so I'm going to just leave it as it is. Okay, so everyone, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open the presentations and I'll give you the links in just a second. And then I'll share my screen as well so you can see exactly where we are. So give me just a second to open that. Okay, so as I'm doing that, let me just say to the people who are coming in, I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. By the way, just to let you know something about me, I've worked at Verbling for 2 years. I've taught over 1,000 classes at Verbling since February 2013. I've also taught English at companies like BP, Deloitte, Prada, Boston Consulting Group, Bain Capital, high schools, and even a university. Taught classes there. So if you want to see my upcoming classes, don't forget, you can follow me on Verbling at this link, which you're going to see in the chat window. And you can take a trial lesson with me if you want to do private classes. That is an excellent way to get personalized attention. These classes are great for general English. Private classes, however, are all about you and your particular needs. Okay, so take a trial class and you'll see what it's about. All right, let's get started. Let's say welcome back to our regulars. Rebecca, Raphael, nice to see you. Nina, Mr. Iabek, you're becoming a regular. Nice to see you as well. And let's say hello to Ivan. Hello, Ivan. How are you?
Hello.
You're new, Ivan.
Yeah, first time with you.
And where are you from, Ivan?
I'm from Ukraine.
From Ukraine. Okay.
Yes.
And is that your pet?
What?
Is that your pet? I see Flipper.
Pet dolphin?
Yes, you have a pet dolphin in Ukraine? No?
Unfortunately.
Oh, you don't. Oh, you should just say yes. We would know the difference. Yes. I keep him in my bathroom. My pet dolphin.
I want to see. Please show me.
I thought that everyone in Ukraine had a pet dolphin. I didn't know.
Oh, sorry, I was a little bit wrong.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. First, I want you to do a quick review of something we did yesterday. If you weren't here, don't worry. This will be a good introduction. Probably it's a review for you as well. Okay? Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can. This is, you can do for homework if you like, but I'm going to do one exercise in the class, using the present simple and frequency adverbs to talk about your job and routine activities. We're talking all about our working life. In the final class on Thursday, tomorrow, you're going to be doing a speed networking exercise where you have to be able to present yourself and what you do very quickly to attract a business partner. So we're working up to that activity. One aspect of that is being able to talk about what you do every day, what your job entails, what your responsibilities are. So we went over some uses of the present simple, and yesterday we got into the frequency adverbs a little bit. I gave you a chart on screen that showed you never, always, sometimes, the words like that. I want to do one quick exercise that would be a good review or a good introduction if you weren't here. Take a look at this conversation and tell me, first, what form of the verb do you need, first of all? And then afterwards, what frequency adverb could you use in these sentences? Okay, so it's going to be these two. So let's do this together as a class. It should be pretty easy for you because the frequency adverbs are things that you learn early, and the verb tense should be easy because it's really what form of the present sounds best, basically. Usually it's the present. Okay, so let's read through this. Let's read through this interview together. Mr. Ibeck, I want you to start us off with 1 and 2 in the first sentence. Okay?
Okay. Gustav Olsen works as a geologist in the North Sea. He spends 3 weeks on an oil platform and then has 3 weeks off. While he is on the oil platform, he misses his family, but he tries to talk to his children as often as possible.
Perfect. Excellent. So works, spends, misses, tries. By the way, the pronunciation of the word geologist.
Geologist.
That's it. It's a soft G, not a hard G. Geologist. Okay? Very good. So the present simple is used to talk about what you do. Used to talk about general facts about your job. Okay? Sorry, yeah, the link to this is here. Sorry about that. Okay, and if you're out there watching, the homework that we're doing is there. Okay? Okay, so Rebecca, why don't you take number 2? Well, now we're going to listen to the interview with Gustav.
Okay, number 2.
Number 5. Sorry.
Number 5, yeah, interviewer. Can I ask what?
It's really simple.
Yeah,
but don't complicate it. It's
no.
just. It's
Can I ask what you find most difficult about working on the oil platform?
Yeah, it's just as simple as you thought it was.
Yeah.
So here, can I ask what you find? Is that a direct question or an indirect question from yesterday?
Indirect.
Exactly. And how do we know it's indirect?
It's indirect because well, first of all, you are asking a question, so you are expecting a response.
Yeah, but if I say, what time is it? I'm asking a question and I expect a response. But that's a direct question.
Because the introduction is, can I ask? And then the second part of it's like 2 questions in one...
In one sentence.
Yes.
That's right. So the key idea that I mentioned yesterday is, in an indirect question, you are asking to ask. Can I ask you what you think about? So the question is, can I ask? And the second question is really a statement inside of the question. And then why is that important? It's important because of the word order. So if I say, where is he? Look at that question in the chat window. Where is he? Okay. Nina, I want you to turn that into an indirect question with can I ask? Nina, are you there?
Sure. Can I ask where is he?
Where is he or where he
Is
where he is correct. So in an indirect question, the WH question, who, when, what, where, how, why, is not a question. It's a statement. He goes before the verb, not after. So, direct question, where is he? He goes after the verb. Indirect question, where he is. He goes before the verb, subject, then verb. Okay, so that's just a little review of what we did yesterday. So far, we're just dealing with the forms of the present tense. Everyone's doing a great job so far, and this is pretty basic. So, Jose, what about 6? The interviewer, read Gustav's response, and then what the interviewer asks next.
Number 6, John.
Yeah, but start from this line before, so we follow the conversation. Gustav says,
the long hours hard, but I get a lot of time off between shifts. What do your job involve exactly?
Try again.
Okay. What does your job involve exactly?
Excellent. Very good. And Raphael, read Gustav's response and the next question too. Okay, Raphael?
yes.
Respond, Gustav.
Yes.
The long hours. I only tell.
Sorry, the next one, where he says, well, the company.
Well, the company drills into the seabed, and I analyze rock samples.
Continue. The interviewer asks.
Interviewer. Do you work on shore as well?
That's correct. So there's no trick here. You just have to make sure that your forms agree. In sentence 6, it's does. In sentence 7, it's do, because it's do you. That's right. Okay, and what does Gustav respond, Ivan? Ivan, sorry.
Ivan. No, I don't, but sometimes I get the opportunity to work on oil platforms in Nigeria.
Excellent. Perfect. Back to IBAC for number 8. Number 9, I'm sorry. Number 9.
Are you happy with your job?
Are you happy with your job? There's no do in a sentence. That's correct. What you said is correct. There is no do in a sentence that has the verb to be. So that is correct. Are you happy with your job? And Nina, what's the answer to number 10? Gustav says?
Yes, I am, but I would like to spend more time with my family.
Perfect. Okay. And you can keep this and try it again later if you want to practice your present tense forms. But first, I want you to put in the missing frequency words. The example is, so, number 1, every Monday morning we have a team meeting. We always have a team meeting. It's another way to say it. It's 100% of the time. And we saw this yesterday with this chart on screen. Take a look. I'll tell you in a second where it is. On slide 9. Give me a second, and I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see yesterday's presentation. 1 second, please.
Excuse me, John. With the sentence, could you please let me know? Do we have to use indirect?
Could you please let me
Let me know when
where?
is a good time for you, or when good time is for you, or is a good. You know what I mean?
Could you please let me know when a good time would be for you?
So it's indirect.
It's indirect, and it's got to be a conditional too.
Okay, better
Because you
with
said
conditional.
when. Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday we looked at this chart, so I want to put that on screen for you again. And we put these words in order. Today, we're going to replace these simple words with more advanced ones. Okay, not that advanced, but just we're going to give you a little more vocabulary. Okay? So this is the chart we worked on yesterday. And today, let's do the exercise first. And then we're going to go back and look at the chart, and you'll see that there's some new words we could put there or some replacements. Okay? So, Rafael, why don't you take number 2? You got to find the replacement word or the adverb of frequency. Go ahead, Rafael. What do you think?
I frequently have lunch in the staff restaurant. I usually have lunch in the staff restaurant.
Usually sounds pretty good. Frequently, usually. Sounds good. Excellent. Okay. And Jose, what about number 3?
Yes, once or twice a month, I have lunch with clients. Usually is never occasionally. Often?
Well, think about the percentage of time. Always is 100%.
Yes.
Often, probably 80%.
80%.
This is once or twice a month. Is that 80% or less?
Less.
Much less.
Much less, or occasionally.
Occasionally.
Occasionally, I have lunch with clients.
Almost. The adverb goes in front of the verb. So, I
occasionally have lunch with clients.
Perfect. That's right.
Okay.
You have to put occasionally in front of have. By the way, just a word about pronunciation. The j sound. Occasionally.
Occasionally.
Perfect.
I have a question.
Occasionally.
Yeah. Ibek, you have a question?
Can we put occasionally at the end? I have lunch with clients occasionally, or not?
It's okay, but what happens is you change the emphasis of the sentence. So the normal position is in front of the verb. If you put it at the end, you are stressing something a little different. You're putting the emphasis in a different place. So it's not wrong. But let's call the before the verb, I occasionally have, let's call that the main position. That's the normal place.
Okay.
Okay? And if you want to move it, you should have a reason to move it. You want to emphasize that it's only once in a while. It also depends on how you say it, okay? But that's the normal position before the verb. By the way, there are some adverbs that really change meaning when you move them. Not these, but there are other adverbs that really change the meaning of the sentence. Don't worry about those right now. Just be aware that some of them will completely change what you want to say. Fortunately, not frequency adverbs. They're pretty much the same meaning. So, who's next? Ivan, what do you think about number 4?
Number 4. Most Friday afternoons I finish work at 4 p.m. So I think it's most Fridays. It's often.
So say the whole sentence for me.
I finish work at 4 p.m. very often, or
So you're going to say very often, right?
yes.
Well, could you put that in front of the verb? Would it sound
Uh,
okay?
or often I finish work at 4 p.m.
That's in front of the subject. I want it in front of the verb. So after,
Verb.
yeah.
I often finish work. That you mean, or what?
Yeah, I often finish work.
I often finish work at 4 p.m.
I often finish work at 4 p.m. Most Friday afternoons. I often finish work at 4 p.m. Yeah, so you'd have to get rid of the most Friday afternoons. What about this, Ivan? I very often finish work at 4 p.m. Is that okay to say?
Sounds good. I think it's. I very often finish work.
It sounds good, yeah?
Yeah.
You're right. You
Yeah.
can also say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you say it like that, it's good, but it sounds like you're going to give more information. I very often finish work at 4 p.m., but occasionally I stay late.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because it's long, you could put it at the end of the sentence. I finish work at 4 p.m. very often. So when it's long, or when it's two words, you can move it to the end and it'll sound natural. Okay? So it's not wrong to put it before the verb if you say very often. But it does sound like you're going to give more information later. Okay? So just to show you another feature of these adverbs. Let's see, who's next? I'm totally lost my place. I think, Raphael, you're up for number 5. I think it's you. I can't remember. I lost my place. Somebody.
Okay. What number? I lost two.
Number 5.
Number 5. I only work on Saturdays, 2 or 3 times a year. I hardly ever work on Saturdays.
Perfect. I hardly ever work on Saturdays. And you got to get rid of the 2 or 3 times a year when you say that. Perfect. Okay? And the last one, who wants it? Nina? I think we skipped you, so what about number 6?
Sure. I have never worked on Sunday. Hello?
Yeah. So, what should it be?
Oh, I thought I gave the answer. I have never worked on Sunday.
I'm hearing I have no work on Sundays. Is that right?
Yes.
But that's not a frequency adverb. Look at the top. Hardly ever, always, often, never, occasionally. We're talking about how often, not whether you have work, but how often you have work. How many times per year or per month. Okay, so try again.
So this one is I don't work on Sunday, right? So
So how often do you work on Sundays? 0% of the time?
right, so I never work on Sunday.
Or?
I never work
Never.
on Sunday.
Exactly. It's got to be never. It's the only choice that fits. All right. Very good. Very good. So look, I'm sure that that is a review for all of you. Okay? But we did see that the placement of the adverb is also important. So it's good to keep that in mind. Now, take a look at this. What I want you to do here, hang on a second, is we basically filled in this chart yesterday and we practiced it just now. So I want you to move forward and I want you to replace or match, not replace, match some of these new adverbs to the ones in the chart. Right? You have to use what you think sounds right. So let's start with Mr. Jose. Look at number 1.
Yes.
Work late once in a while. What do you think that matches with?
I work late once in a while. Once.
So you're going to match that with one of the adverbs that we looked at before.
Rarely.
Once in a while. So so it matches with rarely. Is that it?
Yes.
I work late once in a while if I have a lot of work to finish. I don't think so, because look at the second part. If I
Okay.
have a lot
If
of
I had,
condition, so
I work late. I work late once in a while. Sometimes, no?
yeah, that's the idea. Sometimes,
If he has work, he work. If he don't have work, he doesn't work, no?
right? In other words, on the occasions
Oh,
that he
oh,
has work,
okay. Occasionally,
occasionally, it's
occasionally work. Okay,
exactly. So it's got to be occasionally
occasionally.
because of what that condition means.
Okay,
Only when I have work. In other words,
only
on the
okay.
occasions I have work. So number one,
Only when he has
occasionally.
work. Okay, occasionally.
Okay,
Okay.
that's it. Okay, so let's see if we can match them all. Once in a while matches with occasionally. I bet. What about all the time?
My colleague seems to be stressed all the time. Often.
Often? Wait a second. All the time. Not sometimes.
Always.
Always. It's got to be always, right. So what that means is when we do a speaking activity in here or a conversation and we're talking about our routine, all the time means the same as always, but sounds better. It sounds more like a native speaker, so you should try to use it actively. Okay? Very good, very good. Ivan, what about number 3?
I hardly ever use the phone. I prefer to use email. So maybe it's rarely. Rarely.
Difficult word to say.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Rarely.
Perfect. That is right.
I have a question. What's the difference between rarely and occasionally?
Rarely is less.
Okay.
So rarely is like, 10% of the time. Occasionally could be 30% of the time, maybe even more. Occasionally is really a condition. When it happens, I do it. Rarely, it's like almost zero, 5%, 10% of the time. Something like that.
Thank you.
Yeah? Okay, Rebecca, what do you think about number 4, from time to time?
From time to time, I go on a trip abroad if my boss can't go. From time to time is occasionally.
Well, we used occasionally already, so
Yeah, I know.
there must be another choice.
Occasionally, but it's not often,
It's not often.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, exactly.
Yeah.
So number 4 is sometimes, because occasionally it's really, well, this one is a condition too. It says if my boss can't go, yeah. But the stress here is on how often. So I would say sometimes is the best answer.
Well, but occasionally is less than sometimes.
Occasionally is more of a condition. If it happens, I go. Here, the focus of the sentence is more about the frequency, less about the condition, more about the frequency. So sometimes is more about the time.
But
so,
how percent would you say about sometimes? Sometimes it's 40, 50%?
50%.
So it's more than occasionally, because you just said 30 occasionally.
Yeah, but occasionally is very relative because it's really like a condition. Okay. When it happens, I do it. On the occasion that it happens, I do it. And when is a condition. If and when mean the same thing, basically.
Okay.
Right? So occasionally is a relative word.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, what sounds more natural? What sounds more like a native speaker, Rebecca? Saying, sometimes I go on a trip abroad, or from time to time I go. Which sounds better?
From time to time, I go with my boss can go. Sometimes can go. Yeah. Well, now I know. The right answer is always it works better sometimes.
No.
No.
No, the exact opposite. From time to time sounds much more natural.
Oh,
Because
I thought you was asking me about occasionally.
no. I'm saying what sounds more like a native speaker, from time to time or sometimes. So
From time to time, yeah.
from time to
But
time.
I thought from time to time is a synonym of occasionally, not of sometime.
Yeah. So sometimes is probably the closest synonym here. Sometimes. Yeah. But the
Well,
important thing is, you are going to use the expression from time to time, now on. That's your goal.
okay,
Because it
from
sounds
now
more
on, okay.
natural. Okay? And let's see. Who did I miss? One last one. Who wants it? I always call on Nina last. Nina, I'm calling on you last. You're always last. I don't know why. Number
You
5.
want to meet socially maybe 2 or 3 times a year, occasionally.
Occasionally, to me, is too frequent.
Okay.
It's a little bit too frequent for this because we don't. Well, I guess no. It's okay. It's okay.
It's like, yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. It's all right. Is there something else we could say besides occasionally?
1 or 2, 2 or 3 times. It could be rarely.
Could be rarely too. I agree. Could be rarely. All right. Very good. Okay. Now that you've practiced that, what I want you to do is to do a little bit of talking. I want you to ask and answer some questions about how often you do these things. Your goal is to keep the conversation going as long as possible. Now, what I'd like us to do is to try to go around the room to keep the conversation flowing. And I want to see how many times we can go around the room without stopping. So what you're going to do is pick a topic, ask a question, answer it, and give a follow-up question, always using the frequency adverbs and the better ones that we just learned, like instead of saying rarely, instead of saying occasionally, we could say what, Rebecca?
From time to time.
Fantastic.
But from time to time is always at the beginning of the sentence, or is after the subject?
Remember what I said. If it's long, it can go at the end of the sentence.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Okay, thank you.
If it's short, it goes right before the verb.
Okay.
If it can go at the end of the sentence, it will most likely sound good at the beginning too. Most likely.
Okay.
There's not really we don't really have set rules. It's more about you have to kind of learn these individually. But anyway, generally speaking, if it's long, it can go at the end, probably the beginning. Okay? So we're going to go in this order. It's going to be Mr. Ibeck, and then Mr. Jose, and then Ms. Nina, and then Mr. Raphael, and then Ms. Rebecca, and then finally Mr. Ivan. And we're just going to try to see if we can go through all of those topics in a natural way. I'm going to start off to give you an example. Okay, I'm going to be asking this question to Ibeck. Okay, so the example here is, how often do you travel for work? How often do you travel for work? What about you, Ibeck? How would you answer that question?
Honestly speaking, I travel. I rarely travel for work because I don't have like that position, and so do I need to continue?
You can't end a sentence with so. Okay, yes, I want you to continue. And now you're going to ask the next question to Jose. We're going to see if we can go around all the way around the room using these frequency adverbs, okay? You cannot repeat the same question, of course. Go ahead, Ibec.
Jose, do you always work at the weekend?
Good question. Jose is refusing to answer.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm just joking.
Jose? Jose is having connection problems. So
Okay. Let's
question's
ask Nina, yeah?
why not?
Hello. Can you ask a question again?
Do you always work at the weekend?
Sometimes I work on the week. I sometimes work on the weekend.
You corrected yourself. Very good. I sometimes work at the weekend. Good. And when you answer these questions, I'd like you to give one additional fact that it justifies your answer. So I sometimes work at the weekends when. So give us a reason, Nina.
Oh, I sometimes work on the weekend when I have a deadline.
When I have a deadline. Perfect. Next question is going to be to Jose because he came back. Nina, your question to Jose.
Hi, Jose. How often do you socialize with your colleagues?
Once or 2 times per week, I socialize with my colleagues. I usually socialize with my colleagues.
I usually socialize with my colleagues. Okay.
With my colleagues.
Okay, very good. So, once or twice a week, maybe that's more than usually. What do you think? Mr. Jose?
Yes.
Maybe that's even more than usually. So I want you to say it again, but this time, I'd like you to use one of these words in italics in exercise 6.
I often, no?
I want you to use one of these words in exercise 6 because they sound better. Once in a while, all the time, hardly ever, from time to time.
Okay.
What do you think fits?
Once or twice in a week, the adverb could be often, no?
Yeah, but I want you to look at numbers 1 to 5 in exercise 6.
Yes.
What phrase do you think matches best with what your situation is?
All the time. Number 5?
I don't know. Say it. Let's hear it.
Yes. No, 2 or 3 times in a year, no? I go on a trip or...
If it's once or twice a week, that's often, isn't it?
Yes.
So, which one is the same as often? For you, which one is the same?
Okay.
What do you think, Jose?
I think it's the same. My colleagues all the time. I hardly prefer to use mail from time to time. Number 4? No, number 4 no. All the time. Number 2.
Number 2 is correct. I think that's the best answer too.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let me hear it one more time. Nina said, she said, how often do you socialize with your colleagues? And your answer is? Once more? Once more?
My answer is I usually socialize with my colleagues.
Not usually. You're going to use all the time, like you said.
I often.
No, 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 no. You said it correctly a second ago. Use that all the time. Sounds much better.
Ah, I all the time socialize with my colleagues.
Or, even better, I socialize with my colleagues all the time because it's long.
Okay, I socialize with my colleagues all the time.
For instance, continue. For
instance,
yeah, give us a reason or give us an occasion. For instance.
Okay. For instance, I have a meeting twice or once or twice in a week. No?
I have a meeting, like a business meeting, or a social meeting?
Social meeting.
Okay. So say it like this, Jose.
Yes.
For instance, I meet up with my colleagues. I meet up
with my colleagues once or twice per week.
Perfect. Okay.
Meet up. Okay.
Meet up is a social meeting.
Okay.
If you say meeting, that's a business meeting. Meeting itself is in Portuguese reunião, so in Spanish it's probably almost the same word. Okay. Someone's kid is crying. Uh-oh, that's you. Take care of your kid. Okay, very good. So let's keep going there. Uh-oh, we lost Jose. He's got problems today. We lost Jose. So Jose was going to ask a question to Rafael, but he had to go. He's going to ask a question like, tell me something, Rafael. What about, I got to mute somebody who's got a kid in the background. Maybe it's Nina. It's not Nina. Oh, it's Ivan. I got to mute you for a second, Ivan. There you go. Thanks a lot. Okay. So, how often do you have meetings with your boss, Rafael? The other day you were mentioning your boss. I thought that you were your own boss, but it sounds like you have a boss.
Yeah, my honcho, head honcho.
Head honcho, very good.
Once in a blue moon, in the last few years, once in a blue moon, I met my boss. So rarely, because right now I am working as a freelance, and for this reason I don't have so many meetings with my boss. Rarely at the end.
Okay, so I rarely meet my boss. I rarely meet. Excellent. Okay, your next question is to I think Ivan. I think we skipped him. So your question is to Ivan. Go ahead, Rafael.
Ivan, how often do you eat lunch at your desk?
Yeah, how busy are you, Ivan?
Very rarely, because I usually have my lunch in the cafe in front of our office.
Ah, very good. Is it a good cafe?
Yes, very tasty food.
Good and tasty cafe.
Yeah.
Okay, listen everyone, we're going to come back to this skill in tomorrow's class because you're going to be doing what I call a speed dating exercise. Not dating for romantic interest, but dating to get a business partner. You've got to present yourself in a fast way. But I said that I want to give you some new vocabulary, and I want you to have reading practice in particular. And research tells us that the best way to acquire a language, not to learn it, but to acquire it, that means that you pick up things much more than you're even aware of. The best way is through reading. When you get to the intermediate level and above, it's all reading. So I want to give you a chance to get some experience with reading. I've got a special reading class that we're going to start today. We might not finish it all. If we don't, you'll have the text, and we might want to schedule another class where you can work on what the text means. But let's see how much we can do in this class, okay? So I've given you the link in the public chat and in the chat window. This is a special reading class, and we're going to at least read the text, at the very least. If we don't get a chance to talk about it, we'll see if we can do a follow-up class, okay? So, Anna Carolina, you arrived at the perfect moment. We're just about to start a new activity. So welcome to class there, Anna Carolina. Nice to see you. And what we're going to do is work on vocabulary by reading more about working life, particularly, oh, that's a hard word to say, particularly career changes. So let's read through this article first. I'll give you some help with the vocabulary at the very end. Okay, we'll see if we can read the whole thing in class. Feel free to ask questions at any time if you're not sure about vocabulary words. So, well, Anna Carolina, why don't you start us off? Because you just arrived, so why don't you start us off with the first 2 paragraphs on the top left side, okay?
All right. In the latest in our series on career changes, we meet Veronica Pavlova and Edwin Zedorf, who have made very different career moves. Veronica Pavlova left school at 17 with few qualifications. After a job making school lunches for 8 years, on poor pay and working long hours, she realized that she was no longer motivated and needed to do something different, but she didn't know what. We asked her how she went about changing her career.
Okay, very good. Just 2 words I want you to repeat. In the latest. Repeat.
In the latest.
That's it. Latest. A. Good.
Latest.
Okay, and one more. What was it? Oh, the past tense. What was it? Asked.
Asked.
That's it. Yeah. The D sounds like a T after the letter K. Asked. Okay? Very good. So now we're going to listen to this interview about career changes. I think we might be able to read the whole thing before the end of class. You have vocabulary exercises to do, and we can maybe do a follow-up class to talk about this. But certainly in tomorrow's class at the beginning, we can talk about it a little bit. Let's see if we can read the whole thing before we run out of time. So Mr. Ibeck, take the first question in the first paragraph. We're all going to take 1 paragraph, okay?
Okay. What helped you make up your mind about changing your career? Well, for a while I was focusing on the things I disliked, but someone told me to think about the things I liked both in my work and in my life. The things that I was passionate about, the things that excited or challenged me. I loved it when I was asked to organize things, whether a new menu in the kitchen or a party for a friend. I realized it. I enjoyed organizing.
Okay, good. Just repeat these words. I realized.
Can you repeat again?
I realized.
I realized.
The problem there is you're saying r, but we don't roll the R, so you've got to make it really smooth. Realized.
Realized.
Perfect. The next word is passionate.
Passionate.
Good. Instead of, it's not an A, but an A. Not passionate, but passionate.
Okay.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, let's go on to, let's see, Mr. Ivan. The next question on the top left, top right, sorry.
So what happened next, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I started to look around for jobs that involved organizing events or activities. I found out about event
Oh,
and
Dogs.
thought it would be something I would like to do. It combined organizing and being hands-on. The last thing I wanted was a desk job.
Excellent. Repeat this word. It combined.
It combined.
That's it. Not combined, but combined.
Yes, combined.
Okay. Pay attention to the word hands-on. It's a good vocabulary word.
Hands-on.
Okay, we'll come back to it. Rebecca, take the next question in the paragraph.
Yeah, okay. Did you need any special training? Yes, I went back to college, just part-time, but I did a course called Event and Project Management. We studied everything from project management to event law and contracts. It was really interesting. It took 2 years, but at the end the college organized a placement with global events. The placement lasted for 6 months. For 6 months, and when it finished, they offered me a full-time job.
Okay, pay attention to the word placement in this paragraph. It's an important vocabulary word. Okay? We'll come back to these vocabulary words in just a moment. All right? Raphael, can you take the next question and paragraph, please? The bottom right.
Yeah. What is your favorite part of your new job? I need to be creative. I have to think about the client, their identify and their identity and their needs. Come up with something that will catch the eye. It can be as much about marketing and image as it is about actually organizing the event.
Organizing.
Organizing.
One more time. Organizing.
Organizing.
That's it. That's it. Very good. Now we're going to look at Edwin, which is the other guy. The second part of the interview is with another person with a different kind of career change. At the very end, Veronica says, on the top right, "Do you regret the change in careers?" "No, not at all. I love my new job. The kitchen job was monotonous. But now, every day brings different challenge." Okay? Let's go on to Edwin. Okay? So, Nina, let's read the background of Edwin first, please.
Edwin Seedorf. When Edwin Seedorf decided his job was not motivating him, he made a life-changing career move. The former Amsterdam-based human resources director went out to look for a more rewarding challenge. He asked him about his new career.
Okay. Well, continue, actually. Go ahead.
You made quite a dramatic career change, didn't you? Yes, I did. I had always wanted to work in the voluntary sector, and now I work for a charity called Childcare International. I work in the distribution depot, and the job takes me to places that I never dreamed that I would visit.
I never dreamt. Never dreamt.
I never dreamed I would visit. Last year I was in Sri Lanka to distribute supplies to the victims of the tsunami, and this year I have already been to the Sudan, and I am going to Kenya in October.
You're in the Philippines, aren't you, Nina?
No.
Where are you? I can't remember.
Thailand.
In Poland. Oh, I don't know why I thought you were in the Philippines. Because you said the word tsunami correctly, so I thought, oh, you must know about tsunamis.
No, there was a big tsunami in Thailand.
Yes. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, very good. So we say tsunami, even though it's written with a T. Right. Okay. So we're back to, let me see. Jose, and
Yes,
then Anna Carolina, you're going to do the last two at the end. So Jose, take the one on the top right, please.
yes. How did you choose this charity?
Charity.
How did you choose this charity? I want to get off from behind my desk and do something that will make a difference, I suppose. I was lucky. In my previous job, I had met the manager of an organization called Working for Charities. Charities.
Charities.
Charities. For charities. They help people find work with charities. And so when I finally decided to change jobs, I contacted her. To start with,
Contacted.
contacted. I contacted her. To start with, she offered me recruitment jobs, but I told her that I want to be on the front line. My skills were limited. I wasn't a specialist. They really need medical staff and engineers, but I was happy to take anything. So they offered me a driving and distribution job, and here I am.
Excellent. Very good. Just be careful with the past tenses, right?
Okay.
She offered. I
Offered.
wanted.
I
My
want.
skills were limited. So just be careful because we have three different ways to pronounce the past tense depending on what letter the word ends with. So
Okay.
if it's limited, T becomes tid. Limited.
Limited.
Right. If it's R, it becomes D, like this. Offered.
Offered.
Good. That's it. Okay. And Anna Carolina, can you finish it up with these last two questions?
Okay. What's your favorite part of your new job? I'm helping people, and that's great. Every day we take food to people who need it. We work very hard in very hot weather, so I'm very tired, but I feel like making a difference.
Okay, keep
Do
going.
you regret the charging career? Not at all. Obviously, I don't get as much money now, but the job is very rewarding, and I really enjoy it. I think I will go back to the desk job one day, but I will stay in the voluntary sector for now.
Okay, very good. Just be careful of your R's. Do you regret? Regret.
Regret.
Yeah, not even re, it's ra.
Ru-
Regret.
Do
Yeah,
you regret?
good. It's very easy if you speak Brazilian Portuguese to say he, like you would, like Rio Janeiro. But for us, it's re or ra. So that's it. Very good. Now, here's the plan, everyone. On the next page, I have some exercises for you to do. So it would be a good idea for you to read this again. The exercises, let me just take a quick look, and I'll tell you what we're going to do with them in just a second. On the next page, you have, okay, you've got a few true and false to make sure that you understood what you were reading. Then you've got a vocabulary exercise where you've got to match the preposition. So what I would do is do the exercises on page 5 without looking back at the reading. So before you read it, I'd read it again and then see what you think. You can check your answers on the last slide, which is slide 7. You've got the answers there for you. But you've also got a discussion question, which is on slide 6. It says, look back to the text, discuss 3 words that you could use in your day-to-day work. And then it says, discuss what you think about these career changes. Do you think both of them are correct? So for that, we're going to talk about that in the future. We might do it in the beginning of tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's going to be a big class. If I see that we're not going to have time, I'll schedule a follow-up class where we'll give you a chance to talk about that. If you prefer, you can write your answer, send it to me, use the message window, I'll correct it and send it back. Okay, if you're not able to be here tomorrow. All right? So hang on to that link. By the way, if you don't have it, I'll give it to you one more time. There it is in the inside chat. And don't forget to follow me on Verblink to see my upcoming classes. And as I said before, if you want to try a trial lesson, just the first one, you a trial lesson, you can see all about what individual lessons are like. Okay, so that's it for now. I'll be back tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be back at 9 GMT for another speaking skills class, 10 GMT for this class, and we might even have an extra one to talk about the reading. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Okay?
Okay.
Great job so far, everyone. See you
Thanks a lot.
soon. Have a
Bye-bye.
great day.
Bye.
Bye, see you tomorrow.
Bye for now. Bye-bye.